Hey, hello Java Challenger. I'm here again to help you in your career as a Java developer so that you work on the best Java projects, earn top salaries with cutting edge technologies. So, just to remind you, this is just a warm up series, and the most important event is the High Value Developer Roadmap that will happen in the next week. And I'm looking forward to meet you there and to know more about your career challenges. So I'm super excited to talk to you. So if you are here in the chat, just send hi, and I'll be happy to answer any career questions you have. So if you can tell me about your tech stack and how many years of experience you have as a Java developer, I will be happy. And okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about the techniques to master technologies faster as a software developer. So nowadays it's very important to master technologies more quickly because more and more the companies want us to have the skill of being a good problem solver. So there are some techniques, some general ideas here that I can share with you that helped me to learn technologies faster, and it will help you as well to learn technologies faster. So the first thing is to choose your focus. And when I say that, you have to be careful to not choose a focus that will make you neglect all surrounding technologies. Because, for example, if you choose to learn Java very deeply, usually in most companies that won't be enough. You're gonna have to know all the surrounding technologies from Java, since you are deploying your Java applications in the cloud. So you would be using containers like Docker, Kubernetes, and you would be using a cloud provider, many services with AWS, for example, maybe even serverless and batch jobs. So you would be using lots of other technologies. And so that's why, like when I talk about focus, I have to be very careful here. So you can choose a focus of a specific problem you want to solve. So for example, if you want to solve the problem of performance, then it's good, because when we talk about performance, it involves threads, it involves a little bit of code quality, it involves coding fundamentals, it involves architecture, so it involves lots of subjects that are useful for you to learn as a software developer. And again, if you are here, just send hi. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And it's important for you to understand the big picture. So, for example, when you are in a company, don't just focus on your task. Try to understand the big picture of the business, what exactly your application wants to do. So you need to know what exactly is going on, so that you have this idea in your mind, and you don't focus on your small task, but you know what is the goal of the business. And that makes you a much better software developer. And so if you're learning like cloud technologies, you need to practice what you learned. So even if you make lots of mistakes, it's okay. And actually, to make mistakes is the fastest way to improve and to get better. So a great idea for you is to practice what you learned. So if you're learning AWS, go there in AWS, run your tests, preferably in a sandbox environment where you want to be charged. And but it's okay, like if you are practicing the real thing, just be careful to not be extra charged while you're learning. And find a way to stay motivated. So how can you do that? You can get certifications, for example. The AWS certification is very good because it exposes you to many cloud problems. And nowadays, you know that the vast majority of the companies are using microservices, even if they don't need microservices, they're going to be using it. So it's important to focus on those microservices technologies, because that's basically what the market is asking for. So by getting the AWS certification is great because it will expose you to real day-to-day challenges, and that's amazing for you. You can also get the Java certification. You just have to be careful to not focus only on Java, right? So you have to also learn the surrounding technologies so that you stay motivated. But you have to understand what exactly makes you motivated. So if certifications make you motivated to learn, it's an okay path to go. There are more powerful paths, but certifications is just, it's one of them. And if you prefer, you can also have fun by creating your own project. You don't need to create a profitable product, but you can have fun by creating your own project. And by doing that, you're gonna be practicing your skills, because that's the most important thing as a software developer, is to be always practicing your skills so that you get better, and so that you can get exposed to different problems. Because like I said, what the market is valuing the most are good problem solvers, are generalists, are developers who can get a problem they never seen before, and they figure it out. They figure out, by understanding what are the underneath technologies, by talking to the right people, and basically by when you know the fundamentals, it's also a great way to solve problems. So that's what the companies are looking for, and obviously they want someone who create quality code. So like if you're creating code with Java, you must know the main concepts of Java so that you don't reinvent the wheel, because I've seen senior developers recreating a sort algorithm with Java. And in Java you have the collections.sort method that can do that for you, and you don't need to recreate and reinvent the wheel. So it's much easier if you know the main methods, APIs from Java, so that you don't create code that you don't really need to. Sometimes you create unnecessary complexity, and when you create complex code, you have to maintain that. So make sure you create readable code. This is so important. Create readable code, because you're not creating code for the machine, you're creating code for your colleague, right? And it's also really bad when you create code and you get lots of comments on your PR. It's good because you learn, but to get lots of comments on your PR, it's not good, right? So we have to make an effort to make our code more reusable and create components so that they can get also reused by other developers. And don't lose your focus. So for example, if you know that you need to learn microservices, if you need to know Kafka, for example, or Jenkins, or any other microservice technology, don't go through the tutorial hell learning random things, because that will damage your career. So For example, if you know that you need to learn algorithms and system design to pass in interviews, and you are really stuck in your job and you are sick of your job and you are just watching random videos on the internet, that won't help you to pass in the interview, right? And it's very easy to lose focus nowadays because there's so much information. And nowadays with AI, it's insane how much content you see everywhere about AI. So if you get lost in that, you have to ask yourself, how much is this helping you in your career? Is this really helping you? Like the interviews you're doing, they are asking you about AI as a Java developer. Like make this question. When you go to the interview, notice what's going on there. Do you need to learn all of those shiny toys that are coming up? So it's something to reflect, right? Because it's so easy for us who like technologies to, see the shiny toy and be so excited and, watch random videos on the internet. And then you notice, hey, this is not helping me at all in my career. What's the point? So you need to ask those questions and say, oh, okay, so I need to stop that. Maybe you can watch one video here and there, and that's okay to watch a couple of videos. But the problem is that there's so many videos, so many things happening, and life is also happening, right? You have maybe your family, maybe you have your personal life, and you do your own stuff, and you have to cook, you have to do whatever. And then when you see the important things you didn't do, and then you procrastinate and you do nothing. So it's very easy to lose focus nowadays because it's so much information reaching all the time. So you need to be careful with that. Don't lose focus and avoid the tutorial hell. Because in this trap, I know that many developers are in this trap and they think they are learning a lot, but they're actually not. Like when you're just watching videos passively, you're not building any skill. You're just learning like a little bit of some subject, but then when you go to practice, it's another whole story, right? So have to be careful with that. Have to build skills. That's what make you a great software developer. And use mind maps. Mind map, I'm using MindMeister here. And it's a great tool because like everything I'm learning, I'm always writing on MindMeister, and that makes me really absorb the knowledge. Or if I'm learning code, I prefer to code on my IDE. But if I'm learning something that is a concept, I like to take notes, and that's a great way, right? Because we don't really learn passively. We learn much better if we are taking any kind of action. And creating mind maps is excellent because once you write it, you absorb a lot more. And after that, after you wrote everything, you can review everything you wrote from time to time, and that will help you to really absorb the knowledge. And to make sure that you are doing things, you can use Pomodoro. So, and that will also help you with your mental health because, for example, when you are learning something new, it takes time, right? Everyone knows that to learn any technology, any concept in software development, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So you need to be consistent on your learning, create a routine that makes sense, and it has to be strategic with what you want, right? And a great way to measure your progress is to use Pomodoro. Pomodoro, I've been using that for years, and it really helps me because I know exactly how many hours I dedicated to a certain activity, and that helps me also to be motivated. So because I know exactly how many hours I spent doing specific tasks. And so you have to also stay curious and flexible. So even though I said that you can't be watching random videos, like it's not that you can't completely watch random videos. Actually, it's a good idea. But the problem is that if you watch a lot of random videos, then that will damage your career. But if you do that maybe 10% of your time, then that's okay, because you're just, checking out what is new, what you can use. And another rule here as software developers is to never stop learning, because in our area, we need to be learning all the time. There's no exception, right? So I know that there are some developers that they get comfortable and they stay 10, 15, 30 years in the same company, but they never grow and they get very bored, and it is horrible. Like it seems like they turn into zombies. So I'm pretty sure you don't want that. So in software development, you need to be always, curious, and stay curious and stay flexible. And never stop learning, because you need to create this habit of always be learning, so that you are always on the top of your game. Because, for example, if you're always practicing, for example, algorithms and system design, you're gonna be a lot sharper for the interviews, uh, and like finding another job is gonna be fine for you. So get into this habit, because it will be useful for you. So also define your learning goals. So what exactly do you want to learn? So do you want to learn Kotlin? Do you want to learn Golang? Create a small project with those programming languages. Learn the basics, learn the main concepts. And as an intermediate or senior software developer, you can learn those programming languages a lot more quickly, because you know already the fundamentals of Java, for example. So like learning those technologies, it's gonna be fairly easy, right? A lot easier than learning Java for the first time, because when you learn Java for the first time, they're not so fundamentals, you don't know yet. But once you master object-oriented programming, like the fundamentals of programming or functional programming, when you read another programming language like Golang or Kotlin or whatever, Python, it's going to be a lot easier to understand those programming languages. So it's important also to define your learning goals. So if you want to learn like AWS more deeply, define learning goals. It could be that you want to get a certification. That's okay, but it's important to have one goal. And you can also use the SMART methodology here, and we're going to be talking about that very soon. And also remember that all the periphericals, all the surrounding technologies from Java, you don't need to learn 100% of those technologies. So if you learn the 20% that will enable you to solve 80% of the problems, that's good enough. Because really, if you want to be specialist and really good, know all the details of Kubernetes, for example, it's gonna take years, like, I don't know, maybe 5 years to master, like, and know really everything. So, and you don't need to learn everything about every technology, like, otherwise, like, how can you solve problems? Okay, so Richard is asking a question here. What is your recommendation for someone that's trying to retake its career as a developer after 2 years? Yeah, so Richard, you have to let me know how many years of experience you have and what are your skills. Then I can give you a better answer, because I don't know exactly what you did in your career. I just know that you have the gap, but I don't know exactly how many years you have as a software developer. So if you can tell me, that will help me. That will definitely help me to answer you. So I'll be waiting for your answer. So set clear learning goals, and you can use the SMART methodology, so it can be specific. So let's suppose you want to learn the main services from AWS, and you can put a specific goal that you want to get the AWS certification, and measurable. So you will get the certification in, I don't know, 5 months or 3 months, whatever you think it's that fits in your schedule. Achievable, yes, it's definitely achievable to get the AWS certification in 5 months. It's also realistic, and it's also time bound because it would take 5 months, and you're going to study maybe 5 hours a week, and in this pace, for sure you're gonna get the certification. Okay, so Richard has 5 years of experience working in legacy projects. So yeah, Richard, so it's not easy to go back to the market after 2 years and a half gap, but I would recommend you leveraging your networking. I'm pretty much sure you have people who worked with you who trust in your work. You can talk to them. You can let them know that you are looking for jobs. And also another thing that's important is to create your portfolio, right? So like you can create your own project and put it on GitHub, or you can even do better. You can contribute to open source, or maybe write articles. Those things will help you to get visibility, and it will show like whoever is interviewing you that you still have good software development skills. So that would definitely help. So you can try that. You can try doing some small contributions to an open source project you like. You can start small. You can start with the documentation, because then you have a lot more chances that your PR is going to be accepted. Because if you start with a very important feature, it won't be accepted because they won't trust you. So I recommend you have this 2 years gap. You have to do something to stand out. Otherwise, anyone who doesn't have the gap will be ahead of you. So what projects? Microservices. So I recommend you creating a Java project with Spring Boot, microservice, deploy it in AWS, use Docker, use tests, unit tests, integration tests, create your code in a robust way, use, if possible, design patterns, like make your code simple, make your code readable, divide your code by layers. You don't need to go crazy, just the resource layer, service layer, and then the DAO layer, or the repository layer, whatever you want to call. Make it simple enough and make it reusable, and show that you know how to code, show that you know how to create clean code, robust code, production ready code. Yeah, you could go for like some bank system if you have the knowledge. Yes, it's okay. I wouldn't go like too crazy in the complexity of the project, because you don't need something very complicated. You just need to show that you have the coding skills. And like, I don't know how much time it would take to build a bank system, like simulating real banking operations. Yeah, but integrating with several technologies is a good idea, like integrating with message brokers, maybe NoSQL or a relational database. All of those technologies would definitely help you to show your knowledge. Yeah, essential operations, it's fine. Remember, it can't be something ultra complicated, otherwise you're gonna take years to create this portfolio, and that's not the objective. It's just, your portfolio is just to show your skills. So I wouldn't overcomplicate that. I would make it simple, And if you can contribute to open source projects, it's even better because it's something that you are contributing to the Java community that helps you a lot on your CV. It's also a good way to show that you are still coding and you have the experience, you have the knowledge. So you can try that. Let me know if that makes sense or if you have any follow-up questions. And leverage the right resources. So I created a blog post on the Java Challengers blog, and here you can see very good Java books. I will share those the link here with you. You can check it out. Those books are very good. And yeah, definitely you can have a look. And follow thought leaders and communities. So if you are on Twitter, follow Java champions, follow people you admire, and understand what's going on with technologies, because that will help you to know what's going on in the market, right? So and it's a good idea for you also, Richard, to do an interview and see how it goes. Like, what is your knowledge gap? What exactly they are asking in your country? Because it might vary from country to country, but from my perspective, from what I see in the market, they are usually asking always the same thing. It's always about algorithms, so big O notation, data structures, and then they will ask you for the system design interview, which you have to design a system in 45 minutes. So you have to be really strategic in this interview, and you have to design a system as simple as possible. And so I need to practice. Maybe doing a mock interview with a friend, with a developer friend, and maybe you can interview your friend, and then your friend can interview you, and then you can practice. And then the more you practice, the more it's more likely that you're going to pass in the interview. So, and if you've been learning during this gap, Richard, it's try to prove that during the interview that you've been doing something with software development. If you didn't, just focus on that, creating a portfolio, show your skills, show that you know your stuff. That's the most important thing, right? When you have a gap, you have to show, hey, here's my thing here. I know how to code. I know how to solve problems. I will get in this company and I will help you to solve your problems. So that's basically the idea you have to convey during the interview. You have to understand, okay, what are the company problem? And you have to go there and say, hey, I will solve those problems. That's your goal. And to learn things more quickly, you have to experiment different learning styles. So you can be a visual learner, right? So I'm definitely a visual learner. I like to watch videos. I like to see diagrams. But I also definitely developed my other learning styles because, for example, I'm listening to audiobooks all the time. So while I'm doing things that don't require me lots of brain power, like going to the gym or commuting to work or walking, I'm always listening to something useful, either podcasts or audiobooks. Those are great. So while you are, doing some exercise or doing anything else, you are also learning something. And you might be a kinesthetic learner. So basically, a kinesthetic learner are those who learn by doing things. And actually, what I recommend you is to try all of those styles. And actually, if you do a little bit of visual learning, like by reading books or watching videos, if you are listening to a podcast or to a friend of yours, and if you're trying things out, that will definitely help you to really absorb and acquire skill. So it's very important that you mix and match those learning styles. And it's okay if you are like a visual learner, just watch more videos. But the important thing is to mix and match those, because then it's easier to connect the dots, and definitely you're going to absorb and really make this knowledge ingrained, so that you can learn those technologies and everything we need as software developers more quickly. And let me see here. Okay, so we are 30 minutes in the live already. Do you guys have any other questions? Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. And thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Richard. You are welcome. And so thank you so much, Java Challengers. And just to remind you, this is just our warm-up series for the real event, which is the High Value Developer Roadmap. And this event will happen in the next week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. London time. I will release each video. So if you are in the WhatsApp group, I will release this video there. And I will also, so if you're not in the WhatsApp group yet, you can join the link in the description of this video. So if you're not subscribed for the High Value Developer Roadmap, the link of to get subscribed is here in the description. So you can go there, click on the subscription link and get subscribed, because then you're gonna get all the information on WhatsApp, so that you can join the High Value Developer Roadmap. And this is an event that has true potential of transforming your career. So I'm inviting you to join in this event, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Okay? So thanks, Java Challenger, and I'll see you tomorrow then.